This next unit is going to look at specialised animal and plant cells. First, specialised animal cells. The shape of the cell and its structure depends on its particular function. That's the job it does. You need to know how a variety of different cells are adapted to their function. We're going to look at two specialised animal cells, sperm cells and ciliated epithelial cells. Let's start with a sperm cell. The function of the sperm cell is to carry the male genetic information to the ovum and bring about fertilisation. Once released, the sperm must swim from the vagina up into the fallopian tube, where it may fuse with an ovum. The structure of the cell is highly specialised, with a number of particular adaptations that make it very good at what it does. The sperm cell has 4 major adaptations which make it better at its job. 1. It has a tail that enables it to swim along. 2. The nucleus contains only half the genetic information. 3. Enzymes on the head of the sperm enable it to digest its way through the ovum membrane. And 4. It has lots of mitochondria between the head and the tail, which provides the much-needed energy for swimming. It's really important to understand the differences between adaptation and function. A really common mistake when a test question asks about how a cell is adapted is to give an answer describing its function, what it does. So let's sort out what we mean by adaptation and function. Adaptation is how a cell is suited to its job. So with a sperm cell, this would be a long tail for movement and half the genetic information. Function is what a cell does, its job. So with a sperm cell, its job is to fertilise an egg. Another completely different type of animal cell is the ciliated epithelial cell. These cells line all the air passages from your nose to the bottom of your lung. Cilia are tiny hair-like structures on the surface of the cell. The hairs sweep mucus, trapped dust and bacteria up to the back of the throat, where it can then be swallowed. The cilia beat together to move the liquid or particles, and the many mitochondria in the cell release energy from food to provide energy to make the cilia move. Ciliated epithelial cells don't just appear in the respiratory system, but anywhere where material or substances need to be moved along. So these types of cells will also appear in the digestive system and in the reproductive system. Now, on the higher tier paper, you could get a question about a specialised cell you haven't actually studied or come across. A question designed to see if you can apply your knowledge and the facts you've learnt to a different situation. Let's try one. This is a picture of a nerve cell. Can you describe how it's adapted to its function? So you need to look at the diagram and work out how this cell is suited to its job. Your answer could be that you can tell that a nerve cell is adapted to its function because it has a long, thin structure with many points so it can carry nerve impulses, messages, back and forth. The next section in this unit looks at specialised plant cells. Like animal cells, plant cells have a nucleus, cytoplasm and a cell membrane, but they also have 3 other structures: the plant cell wall made up of cellulose, a large vacuole and chloroplasts for photosynthesis. Now, not all plant cells have chloroplasts, and in this first specialised plant cell, there is no need for chloroplasts, as these particular cells live underground and form the plant's roots. Here's a cross-section of a plant's root. The root hair cell has a long hair-like structure that comes out from the body of the cell. This increases its surface area and enables the uptake of water and minerals to take place more efficiently. There is no waxy layer on the outside, and the thin cell wall allows for quicker uptake of water, and no chloroplasts are found because, being underground, there is no light for photosynthesis. At the opposite end of a plant, the Palisade cells can be found in the upper part of all leaves. Their function is to enable photosynthesis to be carried out efficiently, and they have several adaptations you need to be familiar with. Palisade cells have a large surface area for the absorption of carbon dioxide and light. They are also packed with chloroplasts, which are in the cell so that they are nearer to the leaf surface which faces the sun. This means that more chloroplasts are exposed to a high light intensity. So let's just go over the main functions and adaptations of root hair cells and palisade cells. So the function of root hair cells is to absorb water and mineral salts from the soil. Their adaptations are a large surface area and a thin cell wall. With palisade cells, their function is to provide a site for photosynthesis, and they are adapted to this task by having a large surface area and are packed full of chloroplasts. That brings us to the end of this unit on specialised cells. Can you remember the difference between adaptation and function? If sure, why not rewind and check out the key points again? Or if you're happy with this unit, this would be a good point to take a break. It's up to you.